I'm about to show you something that's going to change how your AI content looks, sounds, and reads. And it all starts with creating a voice and style guide using content that you already have. What's unique about this is that you only need a few samples of your writing or speaking. For example, I'm going to use a transcript for one of my recent videos. Now, maybe you have some emails that you've written or a video transcript of your own, or even a recorded meeting. I'm going to show you exactly how to turn these samples into a guide that teaches AI how to write in your voice. The reason I'm so excited about this is because one of the number one complaints I always hear is that AI output sounds generic. It actually sounds like AI wrote it. And it's one of the biggest issues that people have when they first start using AI. I'm going to help you get rid of that generic sounding AI tone, words, voice, and style to create content that sounds, looks, and feels like your voice. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm just going to walk you through the entire step-by-step process, exactly how I created my own style guide, so you'll be able to do the same thing and create a voice and style guide that you can save and then use at the beginning of all your chats when you create any content like social posts, emails, and so on. All right, let's get into this process. First of all, I'm starting out with a new prompt in ChatGPT. And one other thing I want to draw your attention to is I'm using the ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas. And this is a feature that you will have if you have the paid version of ChatGPT. When you have Canvas, it's like having a document editor that goes with your chat as you go along. Now, what I've done to begin this is I've come up with a prompt, and I'll walk you through it really quickly. We've got a role that says, hey, you're going to act as a direct response copywriter. And I want you to use the speaker's language patterns from a transcript as an example. Now you could change this. I just know that I'm using a transcript, so you can make a small adjustment in this prompt. Here's the next part of it. So create a personality to style a voice and apply it to a writing style, incorporating the tonality and personality in such a way that would resonate and create trust in audiences who are familiar with the speaker. This can be used for any type of output. And here's the final command. Create a complete writing style guide. And then you'll see I just have this word transcript. That's my placeholder for where I'm going to put the transcript next. So let's drop that in. And I like using transcripts because I've edited the videos and they're a very good example of my tone of voice. So let's see how this turns out. I'm going to take all this, and now you can see it's starting to build a personality style guide based on my tone of voice. And it's going to build in a lot of detail, and more detail than I'm going to walk you through, but it's really in depth and has a lot of structure to it. So I'll just sample a little bit of what you'll see here. It's got tone of voice, language patterns and style. It has pacing and structure. It talks about emotions and personal connections. And it also talks about key vocabulary and phrases. This, I find, is really useful when you're trying to create a style guide because this is what's going to make it sound like you, especially for those who know you or have been listening to you or have been around you. When you see AI output from this, it will feel and look more authentic. Now we have the overall writing style summary. What you're going to want to do at this point is click on the copy buttons up here and then save this into a text document. And that's going to make it easy for you to drop that into the beginning of a new chat. Now, I've already done that. I've already got this saved away. So now what I want to do is I want to test this out and build on it and see, hey, can I write an email newsletter just using a style guide? I'm going to put in a very basic prompt here. I'm going to close this part of the canvas. Let's drop in a prompt. And all this says is I need to write an email newsletter to my subscribers about a new video I just released. And please write a short email newsletter. I've included a video description for reference about what the video is about. Now, I did that for convenience because I wanted to give AI a lot of example about what the video is, and I didn't feel like typing it out. So I went to my old YouTube video description and I copied that, and I'm going to use that as the basis for what this newsletter should be about. So I put in the entire YouTube video description. And now it knows how to write it, and it also knows what the email newsletter should be about. This is a video that I made on creating reusable standard operating procedures from a video transcript. And here's the email newsletter. I'm just going to browse through it really quickly to see if it in fact emulates my style. Right here, you're going to notice that it says over and over again, because sometimes in my transcripts, I tend to repeat myself in certain phrases. So they captured that. Another thing I like about this is normally when AI would write a phrase like this, it's a massive time saver for anyone looking to delegate tasks consistently and effortlessly. It's typically going to insert words like seamlessly. I still think effortlessly is redundant and doesn't need to be there. So I would probably edit that out. But already I can see that this is not sounding like the typical AI garbage that you'd get without a style guide. And so I like the way it looks. This is an email newsletter that I would use. I think it's 90% there, maybe 95% there. I wouldn't change too much. Because I've got this example here, I'm going to go back and make some suggestions on things I don't want to see in the style guide. Now, when I did some testing before, I saw some words that I did not want to use. So I made this prompt about things I wanted it to update the style guide. A lot of times I'll see buzzwords like game changer and revolutionize and seamless and things like that. I'm going to pretend I saw some of those, and I'm going to ask AI to update the style guide. What it's going to do is it should go back and it's going to add that language in there about things to avoid. We'll see where it's going to put it in there. So I put this in there so you can go back, generate some outputs, and decide what you don't like, because you'll always find some type of phrasing or word usage that doesn't feel like you, or maybe it annoys you or it frustrates you. Take note of those and then go back and say, hey, please update my style guide, make these changes. I believe we have a new section here, things to avoid, buzzwords, game changers, revolutionize. This is good. Let's move to what I wanted to do next, which is create another email. And this time, what I'm going to do is add one more component to it, which is I want to generate an email newsletter using the attached style guide as reference and emulate the length and format in the example below. So what I've done is I've put an example email in there as well, just to show you that you can further refine this and make it sound almost exactly like you want it to with an email that you've already written. So we've accomplished the style guide. It did a pretty darn good job of just creating an email that pretty much matched what I wanted to see, but now we're going to give it another example so we can emulate the format. And this is what I do when I see AI generates too much content. I've included the email down there, and I also included a example subject line and email preview text for the newsletter. I want to include multiple versions of those so I can choose which ones I like best. And now it's going to go through and create another email for me based off of the format that I provided. And it also has subject line options and email preview text. So this is good. I like these, and this is something I can use. It's not too long, easy to read. Now, I had the advantage of having an email example. What can you do in a situation like this where you want to generate an email about a completely different topic? And I'm going to give you another example here that you could use as a prompt. And there's a key thing in here that I changed. I'm asking it to generate an email newsletter about topic. And you'll see that I have the word topic in brackets. And then down here, I have topic in brackets with the equal sign. Then here's basically some notes in free form that I wrote. This is what AI is going to write the newsletter about. So this is an easy way to take a prompt and reuse the prompt, but then down here, you have a variable, and then you can just write notes after that. In this case, I'm asking it to write an email about this very topic that we're talking about, because I'd like to get an email ready for my next video when I get this done. It's going to take all that content and now build a new email for me that I can use about the video that I'm actually recording right now. And This is pretty good. It's got a good introduction. It talks about what I'm going to do in the video, and then it has all the steps that go into this. So there you have it, a really easy way to create a voice and style guide that you can save into a text file and then use at the beginning of all of your new chats. And no matter if it's an email, a social post, a blog article, you now have a way that you can build in your own personality into your output. This is really going to scale up your content generation game because now you can reuse that voice and style guide again and again. I really hope this is useful to you, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you use this type of content. And that is it for today. Take care.